Hi everyone, I'm Ryan at Marine Parts Source, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a few different tools that will really help you out if you're working on a MerCruiser Sterndrive. Now, we've helped thousands of people over the years work on their MerCruiser engines and drives, and one thing that's been really clear over all that time is that when you have the right tool for the job, it goes so much easier. And another thing that's become really clear is that people don't know what they don't know, in that they don't realize that these special tools are available and can be used for different repairs that they're conducting to make life so much easier. So I just want to point out a few of these. MerCruiser makes special tools themselves, but all of these tools on the table are from Sierra Marine. They do a really good job of providing all the different fast-moving parts that you would need to repair your drive or your MerCruiser engine. And in addition to that, they're making special tools as well to make the job a lot easier. So the first tool that I will just point out is this engine alignment tool here. So this is a really simple tool to use, and usually whenever you're changing out a gimbal bearing, this is something that you might use. And in fact, MerCruiser suggests that you check the alignment on your engine at least once every 2 years. So this is a good tool to have handy. Basically what you're going to do is when you take the drive off, you can slide this through the gimbal all the way to the engine and check to make sure that everything is lined up correctly by just turning this tool. If you feel it rubbing or knocking in anything, then you know that you have an alignment problem. So it's just an easy way to check, make sure that you have correct alignment between your engine and the gimbal housing. Another tool that I want to point out when you're in that space of replacing your gimbal bearing is a gimbal bearing puller. And having this is really going to save you a lot of extra effort. So a lot of people, when they're trying to replace their gimbal bearing to get it out, they're going to use something like a slide hammer, and that just requires an incredible amount of effort to get that bearing out of there. So instead, there's this puller, which is a really handy tool. Basically, this is going to slide down and go through the gimbal bearing here. These notches here are going to line up with the bolts, and you're just going to turn this, and as you do, there's a ball that's inside of the shaft down here, and this will expand out to hook onto the gimbal bearing, so to hold onto it. And then you can just keep turning this tool, and as you thread it, eventually it's going to pop that gimbal bearing out. It makes the job so much simpler and a lot easier for you to get that out and then replace it. So that's a really handy tool. We definitely recommend, if you're going to be doing that job once a year, which is really the best case scenario for maintaining your drive, that you have one of these on hand. Another tool I want to point out when you're working on your drive that's really handy is a bellows expander. This is used for removing the exhaust bellows out of your transom. And what you're basically going to do is put this in, and then it expands and holds that exhaust bellows in an expanded position so you can move it towards the bell housing. This pin is going to go into place so that it doesn't slide back in, and it also has a set screw here to set it in place so that it holds that tension against the exhaust bellows. So it's really handy for being able to remove the exhaust bellows out of the transom assembly. Another tool that's really handy when you're doing any sort of transom service is this disc right here. Now, it doesn't look like much, but it's really handy because there's this ring on the end of your U-joint bellows, whether it's an Alpha 1 Gen 2 or a Bravo drive. And this goes into the U-joint bellows to help it to retain its shape. So it can be tricky to get this ring to line up into the bellows just right. So what you do is you take this disc, you put it onto the end of your engine alignment tool, and then you can easily slide that down in and press that ring into place properly. The final tool I want to mention is this little hinge pin tool here. So this is handy for being able to get the hinge pins out of either side of the gimbal housing. It just is going to fit right into that pin, and then you can easily use a wrench to turn that and get it out. Sometimes these can be stuck in there pretty good. So having a tool that properly lines up with the head of the screw here is going to really make a difference in being able to get it out. So those are some of the basic tools that we recommend if you're going to be working on your drive and your transom assembly on a regular basis. These are really going to come in handy. Obviously, if you're not comfortable with any of this type of work, we recommend that you consult with a certified marine mechanic and let them do the work. But of course, if you ever have any questions, you know you can reach out to our ABYC certified experts The number is on the screen. You can find us online at marinepartssource.com. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and we really appreciate you watching. Make sure and like and subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time.